Hello, everybody. It's Stephanie Hansen, and welcome to Dishing with Stephanie's Dish. I am very excited to host my first travel trip. I tried to do a travel trip to Costa Rica, and it got canceled because of COVID. So I am back, and I'm doing a taste of Spain. And this is going to be a custom trip that's going to be 9 days and 8 nights on October 1st. And we will travel to Spain, and we're going to go to lots of different cities. And I just thought, to give you a little push to decide to join us and to commit to your travel, that I would talk a little bit more in depth about the trip. So I have some guests with me today. I'm here with Krista Erickson, and she's the district sales manager for Trafalgar Tours. And I'm also here with Kayla Johnson, and she works with travel leaders, and she's been really excellent in helping me put together what is my first trip, and hopefully many. I've got a lot of destinations in mind. And when we talk about travel, I think eating your way through a country is like the best way to do it. So thanks, ladies, for joining me.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So Kayla, when you and I first got together and talked about this idea of like hosted travel and me bringing folks along, what was it that got you excited right away?
Oh, I love the idea, like you were saying, of kind of learning about a country by kind of eating your way through that country and learning about, the culture and the different things that the country has to offer, and kind of looking at it from that foodie perspective. Really excited about that.
What I think too is super exciting for a lot of folks is, European travel requires coordination. It requires, you've got the trip to plan, and you've got the airfare, and you've got the getting from point A to point B and getting to different cities, because I know that you guys really do such a good job of putting that all together. And it feels like you're being kind of taken care of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I agree, being able to kind of have a travel director, which we do have on this trip. So obviously we'll have you with, which will be wonderful.
Yes.
And then we also have a travel director through the company that we're working with. And Krista, you can probably speak a little bit to that. The tour company is Trafalgar Tours, and their travel directors are top notch and do a really wonderful job of taking care of everybody while you're traveling.
Yeah, so Trafalgar Tours has actually been in business. Our parent company has over 100 years. Trafalgar, we're now celebrating 76 years in business. One of the unique things about Trafalgar is we actually have product on all 7 continents. So Stephanie was talking about various places to go. Chances are we've got product that, on a continent that you might be looking for, or a country. But in regards to Spain, we actually have quite a few tours that operate in Spain. But from a Trafalgar perspective, our tagline really is tour differently. And I think what that means is, just taking care of, you're talking about, just being taken care of. I think now more than ever, as we come out of the pandemic, just feeling safe and secure when you travel is really important. So when you take a Trafalgar trip, you've got all the details taken care of. So you can really kind of sit back and enjoy the ride, and for you guys tasting your way through Spain.
Okay, so when we talk about this particular trip, we are going to fly into Madrid.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, can you just give me like a little mini tour so that people can feel like they're joining our group, all 17 to 25 of us, depending on how many we get, and eating their way with us?
Yes, absolutely. Okay, I can take this. So we'll fly into Madrid, and you'll have 2 nights in Madrid. You'll start that first day off, kind of get in and get settled into your hotel, and we'll have a group dinner where everybody will be able to get together that night. Everybody will be able to meet, which will be really fun. The travel director will be there, and he or she will do a great job of, kind of making sure everybody feels comfortable. And then the next day, so 2 nights in Madrid. So the next day we'll do some sightseeing day 2 sightseeing in Toledo. We'll have a walking tour with a local specialist. And then I'll just kind of do a quick overview. Then we go 2 nights to Seville, 1 night in Granada, 1 night in Valencia, and then 2 nights in Barcelona. Some of the highlights of the trip is there's going to be a tapas route that we're going to be able to do as a group in Madrid, which is going to be, you know, a little tasting here and there with
Yes.
wine, which will be amazing. We have a flamenco dinner one night in Seville, which will be great. And that's with dinner. And then a chocolate museum with a tasting on one of our days. So yes, so we're going to have a lot of fun food things. And then we'll have kind of the fun tour things too that we'll be able to see in Spain, some of the, you know, some of the fun highlights as we go through Spain too.
Well, and I've been to Barcelona, which is where we'll end the trip.
Mhm.
And I have to say, and I've been a lot of places I enjoy traveling, but the Sagrada de Familia,
Mhm.
the
Mhm.
final place in Spain that we will end up when we're in Barcelona is this gorgeous Gaudi designed church chapel. It's hard to even describe. It is the most incredible thing you've ever seen architecturally. I think it's so gorgeous. And they've been working on it for what, like, I think it's been like 50 years.
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Yeah.
it's
At
still
least
technically not
that.
finished.
And yes, it's technically not finished. And you know, Barcelona is a fantastic place to end your trip. It's got over 30 Michelin star restaurants there. I don't know if you're familiar with that. It's actually, it gets labeled all the time as one of the best places to go in Spain for food. So it's an amazing place to kind of wrap it all up. One thing that I really like about this itinerary that Kayla and Stephanie have put together is, you know, you've got, you know, your set things that you're doing, but there's also a lot of free time. So when you fly into that first day and you start out in Madrid, you actually have time to kind of roam around. And believe it or not, I looked up a fun fact. One of the world's oldest restaurants opened in 1725 in Madrid, called El Restaurante Botan. Do not quote me on my Spanish.
Sure.
But it sounds like a great place to check out. And then also too, you know, as we're coming up on the new year here, I had a similar experience in Portugal, but it's a Spanish tradition at New Year's Eve to when the bell tolls 12 times to pop a grape in your mouth for each time so 12 grapes. So
I love it.
got a mouthful of grapes. But it's really to make sure that you have a good new year. And that happens in the main square right there in Madrid. It's called Porto del Sol, I believe. So that's another place to check out. So the trip is really designed for you to also, you know, if you just want to get off and go do your own thing and hang out in the cafe or go shopping, you know, there's also optionals added as well. And when we talked about the travel director, you'll meet that travel director the very first night at your welcome dinner, and they are with you from the start of the trip to the end of the trip. You'll have a coach driver, and they, you know, they're of course driving the coach. The travel director, though, they're really, I love to call them your friend in the destination. You know, so they're going to be able to point things out when you're taking that drive, you know, from Madrid to Toledo, which is, I think, maybe an hour long. You know, if you have any questions, they're great to ask questions to. And then Kayla also mentioned a local specialist. So a local specialist is going to be somebody from that town. So when you're in Toledo, which is actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site, I don't know if you know this, but Spain has the third most UNESCO World Heritage Sites anywhere on the planet, and any other country. So I believe
cool.
Italy, and I know there's so much to see. And Toledo is absolutely amazing. It's an ancient town. It's a fortress up on the hill, and it's known for its really hard iron. And so they make swords there. So you'll learn about some of that, but that's a local specialist who's going to be there talking to you about those things. And local specialists, they're incredibly passionate people. They're incredibly knowledgeable. Some of them are teachers, some of them are art historians, but it's just another way that we're going to add more flavor, if you will, to your tour, since we're on the Taste of Spain.
I love when I go to a travel somewhere and I go to a country, I love to hire someone locally to drive me around, point out different things, take me to their favorite place to get a cup of coffee, whatever it might be. And I know we're also doing a paella class, and to be able to learn to cook what is like the cultural dish of Spain is something that I think people will really be excited about. There is a real specific way that you cook paella. There's a specific pan, and just how long you let the rice caramelize until you get some of those crispy bits. So I just feel like who better to learn these things from than people that actually live in these towns. And Europe is so incredible in that it's just so old. So no matter where you go, you have no sense of like how young the United States is until you actually are in Europe. And then you're like, wow, places have been around for a really long time. And it just makes America look so young and undiscovered still.
Which we are compared to Europe.
Yes, exactly. When you have been traveling in Europe, what kind, like as we're coming out of COVID, is the idea there the same? Or like originally Europe was pretty locked down? Like, are people in the European countries still masking? Kind of what's the flavor now?
I'd say that it's very similar to us, and you can jump in if you want to, Kayla. They kind of went through the same ups and downs that we did with travel. That's also one thing nice about going with a travel company is they're going to help out with any of those local protocols that, may be occurring if you do have to mask up.
Yep.
If something happens and you need another vaccine or whatever the case may be. But right now things are really pretty open, and it's very similar to traveling right here in the US.
All right.
Yep, that was my experience. I was in Italy over the summer, and yeah, it was wonderful. I mean, and I think so many people are just happy to be traveling again.
Yes, me
so
too.
If you are in a situation where you maybe do have to put a mask on for this or for that, I think people are just so happy to be out and, and experiencing all of the sights and to be traveling. But yeah, it was very, very relaxed this past summer when I was in Italy.
When we arrive, one of the things that you do when you're in these European towns is you always go to the different churches because there are just so many. We will be also going to a mosque that will be in Madrid, which will be something kind of interesting, just to see some of the different culture. And, when you think about Europe and how it was settled and where people came from, and, Spain is an island. So you get this sense of how people maneuvered throughout Europe, and following the spice trade becomes a big part of the food journey. I'm really excited about that just because I have only been to Barcelona, so I'm anxious to see what some of the other towns are like and what some of the other culture is. Obviously, Barcelona being probably one of the bigger cities. But it's fun to see smaller places too, and just how that spice journey changes when you move throughout a country.
I would agree. And Valencia is one of the towns that you're going to be visiting. My main memory of Valencia is just the orange. I was there when the trees were blossoming, and they have orange groves that like line the streets. So just like the smell of orange, but it also, I don't know if I mentioned this, it's got the biggest market, I believe, in Spain.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, over 900 vendors. So it's just a really unique town within itself to visit, and that's one of your stops. And I was really glad that it was incorporated on this itinerary. It's a cool town. A lot of fun, very vibrant town, kind of a party town. Yeah, it's fun.
I love a good market too. The markets in Europe, it's like you go there, they don't really like in most places have like the big grocery stores, as it were. They really do shop local and they go to like the cheese vendor and the meat vendor, and then someone who's selling fabric or spices or the fruit person. And it's really like the market experience in Europe is like none other. And I'm super excited to just do that too.
Yeah, and you walk everywhere too. So make sure you have comfortable shoes. Be practical. I'll say that.
So what's going to happen is once you decide to go on the trip, your price per person is $38.70, and then you will book your airfare. And Kayla, will you help people book airfare, or if they want to go somewhere after Barcelona and travel on?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Just need to contact me and kind of let me know. We have an air team that can help you with your air, and we can help with any pre or post travels too.
which, you're already there. You might want to stay for a few more days or do something
Right?
else that's close.
I agree.
I'm really excited to take this group. I think we're going to have a great trip. When you have talked to people that have done these guided hosted trips before, are they usually pleased?
Yes, yes. I personally, I've done one with Trafalgar to Greece, and it was amazing. It was just, it's so lovely to be able to go and not have to worry about all the logistics
Yes.
when you travel. I mean, it's just really great to kind of feel like you are taken care of, and you meet people too that love to travel, which, I mean, it's fun. I mean, and to see the different sites with a group of people that, really also loves to travel.
Yeah.
And and one thing that I really liked about it is you don't really have to handle your luggage, which I know sounds like a small thing.
No, it's a big thing.
Yeah. Right? It's great. You get up in the morning. So if you're going to be changing hotels, you'll get up in the morning and you leave your piece of luggage outside your door. And when you get to your hotel that night, it's waiting for you. So they load it on the bus for you, and all of that. And that is just, yeah, that's very nice.
I love it. I'm excited for all those little touches along the way of somebody taking care of you and yet you having a great time. I'm bringing a gal pal and we are super excited. I'm excited to meet the people that I'll travel with too. I am a pretty fun person and I really like to have a good time and experience things. So I appreciate you guys helping me coordinate this. Kayla, if people want to, that are listening to this, I'll put a link for you in the show notes too, but they can also reach out to you how?
Absolutely. Phone, email, and do you want to just put that in the show notes?
I'll put it all in the show notes. Yep. And
Okay.
so your first step, if you're interested, is to connect with Kayla and she will give you all the pricing information, answer any questions you might have that would relate to your particular situation or your lodging or whatever your needs are. And then from there, we wait and we make sure we have enough travelers to go. And then once we get all of our travelers, then we get the all clear and we can book our airfare or ask Kayla of help for booking it. And then we're ready to go next October. Should be awesome.
Sounds amazing.
Thanks both to you for joining me today, Kayla Johnson, Krista Erickson. We're going to have a great trip. This is going to be one of many that I'm going to do. I'm going to try to do at least one a year because I just think there's no better way to learn about countries than eating through them. So thanks for joining me, you guys. I appreciate it.
All right. Wonderful. Thanks, Stephanie.
All right. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.